All right, guys. Yo, welcome back to another episode. We have our weekly show here. We're gonna call it Wisdom Wednesday. Fuck, I'm fucking this up. Wisdom Woman Wednesday, and we're gonna learn
A
all about
woman of
how
wisdom.
all about wisdom. Yep. So back with Joe. Great to see you again, brother. And we're gonna be continuing the topic of no contact. And I think as we've been sharing the last couple of weeks, this is a really important topic to be able to build stronger frame and to know how to properly exit a relationship to keep a little bit of your sanity intact. And I know Joe here is an expert on it, and I'm actually going through it. So this is I'm very excited for this episode. And Joe, why don't you just start us off with where you wanted to kind of pick back up from where we left off from last week?
First off, thank you for having me. Pleasure as
You're welcome.
always. I've been real excited about this show. Looking forward to it every Wednesday now.
Awesome.
Talking about Women Wisdom Wednesday. I like it. We'll keep kicking that around. I don't remember where we left off. I don't remember exactly where I left off. I know I kind of started jumping all over the place because it's such an in-depth, complex. It's simple in theory, but the inner workings of no contact are very complex, and it can be. There's a lot to clarify within the simplicity of the actions and progression you should be taking. It's very simple, but there's a lot of depth that you can drill down so much into each phase. Now I keep saying I'm swore I'd stop saying that.
Safe practice. And I'm going to pause you real quick. I think I just said it. Your camera is, I think it might be above the computer. So you're looking like up.
Am I looking above? No, I was looking at something while I was talking.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Go.
Something caught my eye.
Okay.
You have to bear with me. Easily
Yeah,
distracted. So I don't remember where we left off exactly. I remember we'd going over some points about, what it is that no contact being a mature and respectful way to exit someone's life at their request. It's a mature approach, and like you said, doing it with what was the word you use? Exiting a relationship with what?
Integrity.
Well, that's the word I was looking for. You didn't say that.
Okay.
That's what I was going to say.
Okay.
Integrity, maintaining some integrity and self-respect. Kind of, more complex way of saying saving face a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And, at some point, it's going to let up. The important thing to do is recognize this is not as a manipulation. You're just giving the other person what they asked for. And you're just doing it without a fight. I've been there. I've been through the begging, through the unwanted visits, thinking if I could just explain, and the unwanted explanations and gestures and all the things that a man does wrong when broken up with is I've done it. And I've done it the other way too.
Okay.
I've been in relationships and done it with no contact and walked away clean. Giving them exactly what they asked for. You don't try to shove more love into something that doesn't want it already. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That's and the longer you drag that process out, and it seems like in the beginning, like I said, the way we're programmed as men, that we start looking for solutions and what action can we take? We know I can fix it. Mm-hmm. And the immediate knee-jerk reaction is to suffocate her with reassurance and promises that you'll do better and you'll work, when in reality, the relationship ended because of both people. But the one that, you ever heard the expression, rejection breeds obsession? So yes. The one who's been rejected, who is already mentally unhealthy and emotionally immature and unhealthy, who already has a subconscious belief of that they're not good enough and they don't deserve love, which we'll get into how that affects relationships too, is that person's going to go to their default with the poor self-concept is that they're not deserving of anything quality and love and relationships, and the auto response is, I fucked up. I did this wrong. I got to make it right. I did this, and this. You go through that ruminating, thinking about it constantly, all the conversations you had, what you could have said differently, what I could have done. Ooh, this time we had an argument. If I'd have just said this instead of this. And you're thinking, if I tell her this, she'll understand that I've paid attention and I'm really sincerely working hard to do better.
I'm guessing that's not a great idea to do.
It's not a good idea at all, because the best thing you could do for yourself at that moment is, like I said in the beginning, you can fight a little bit. Like, hey, look, I don't want this. I don't want to break up. I want us to stay together. I really want to work through this. You have that opportunity in the very beginning. And she again says no, then the best step you can take next is to say, okay, and respectfully give her that. Respectfully grant her what she's asking for, and let her have it. And you can also make it known, like, okay, if you change your mind, give me a call, get in touch.
Okay.
Or if you want to talk, let me know, get in touch. Some kind of leaving the door open some kind of way. But after that, it's donezo, brother. You're just going to go through the suck for a little while, because that's a natural part of, detaching emotionally from somebody. It's a lot like a death. As you experience, it's the same exact sensation and feelings and symptoms of drug withdrawal.
Yep.
And because you're cutting off the same chemicals, you're cutting off the exact same chemical dump you get when you snort a line of heroin, or take pain pills, and that flood of endorphins kicks. That's the same thing that's what falling in love is. It's like being on drugs. That's all it is a chemical release. I hate to piss on anybody's romantics parade, but that's all you're doing is experiencing a flood of emotion. And it's designed like that. The design of it is to chemically bond people so we stay together and reproduce. Because you ever notice you get post-nut clarity and you're like, oh, wait a minute, let me think about this. And then on the other hand, she's like, oh, he loves me so much. I can't believe he did that. That's and so these hormones and chemicals that are dumped and produced through that bonding process is a design to keep people together. And there's a lot of good qualities and a lot of good, there's a lot of good in that, because it is a good experience and it is a fun experience, and it can be good and it can be fun. But what the most important thing is, after you walk away, go through your shit. I don't condone self-destructive behavior, drinking and drugs, going fucking everything with a pulse. It happens. I'd highly suggest, keep it to a minimum. Go through that 2 weeks of, you're going to go cut a little loose. Don't do anything stupid, but it could happen if you're under the influence of drugs or alcohol. You could accidentally knock a chick up on a one-night stand. You could catch a disease. You could go to jail. You could commit some crazy crime. You could get a DUI. I did it. So don't go off the deep end. And I think we brushed on about who to talk to and how to talk to about it. I don't recommend you just going out to and volunteering this information from friends. If your friend circle's tight and right, which if they are, you're probably not going to be in bad relationships. But you got to think, how are these people going to tell you to do the right thing? Worst off, don't go hunting her friends down.
No.
Trying to convince them and use them as a channel, like accidentally, purposely bump into them and, oh, how's she doing? Try to play like they know what the fuck you're doing. And then who you talk to about this, who can really tell you the right thing to do. If you go by the way we've been programmed over the last 50 years how to handle women, some idiot, and I've had this happen, is going to tell you, I didn't do it, thank God, I knew enough at the time, to go buy her flowers, send her a card, tell her you're sorry, surprise her, leave the flowers on her porch. This is exactly what he told me. Go get a card, go get her favorite flowers, put it on her porch with a card, go around a corner and call her and tell her, go check your porch.
Take note, guys. Do this.
How fucking terrible of advice is that? That is the absolute worst thing you could do. So no, you withdraw from her, pull back, go through the suck phase, because it's going to suck a little bit. I'm not going to lie. It's an emotional roller coaster. You're going to go from pissed off, depressed, anxious, happy, sad, hungry, no appetite, sleeping too much, not sleeping enough, waking up thinking about it, go to sleep thinking about it. That's just the dregs of breakup, especially if you're the one that's been broken up with. Or come
And
to the
I want to touch
realization.
on that a bit, Joe. There's the stages of grief, and I think this is a good time to cover these 5. And so it's anger, it's denial, it's bargaining, it's acceptance, which is where we want to get to, and then I can't remember the last one. That one might just be grief, like sadness. So yeah, you go through those 5 stages and they come at different times. So sometimes you might be feeling acceptance and then all of a sudden you feel grief again or anger.
Yeah, well,
And
that's why I call it the roller coaster. Because you can be
depression is the other one. Yeah, not grief, depression.
You can be months ahead, feeling great. The first morning you get out of bed, you're doing your thing, you realize, oh shit, I haven't even thought about it today. I'm going to the gym like I've been doing for the last 4 months. You're at the gym and you pass something, you smell something, and it's like, boom, you're right back in the fucking shit.
Yep, it really is like that.
And it does happen like that, and that's perfectly normal. But the thing to do is, with this time apart, is relentless action, massive action. Look into these things. Make an honest appraisal of that relationship, and don't even worry about her. Don't focus on her whatsoever. Get her out of her mind. Over time, you're going to come up, well, if you work with somebody like me, you'll get the tools to have, when you have that rumination begin, when you start rehashing everything, I call it shooting yourself. I should have done this. I should have done that. Should. And you begin ruminating and start feeling sad. After working with me, I give you a set of tools and exercises where you can cut that shit off and take a different direction right then in the moment. As soon as you feel it coming on, as soon as you're aware that it's there, boom, you hit the stop, redirect. And you can channel this hurt. You can channel that fucking pain into becoming the most amazing version of yourself that you ever dreamed of. But it begins with you being completely honest with yourself. And that's we've done our show about the traumas. That's a huge deal. That's a huge deal that goes unattended through most people's lives. They have no idea. And one thing is, it's those traumas are put into you. That was your subconscious's way to help you live, to help you survive through whatever caused you trauma. And those behaviors and thoughts and actions were put there to protect you. So it's not all bad. But the thing is, what we do is we grow and we cultivate that through our teenage and adult years, and it just compounds. So what you want to do is be able to recognize things, look for patterns in your relationship. At what point did I become clingy? What point did I become needy? What point did I become combative? How often did I lose my shit? How emotionally stable am I? How mentally stable am I? What do I really bring? And you have to take a close inventory, and it takes weeks of looking at these things and getting them on paper, and then going to the qualified people to help you work through that, whether it's through therapy. Therapists are dangerous because most of the therapists are like just programmed by, they got the same blue pill programming that, these dorky husbands will tell you shit. Like, well, did you help me wash dishes enough?
Right. I actually had to leave therapy because I was coming to them with questions that they didn't know how to answer. I was like, hey, how do I get out of debt? And they're like, thousands of student loans. Or how do I quit drinking coffee and eating sugar? And they had just a giant Starbucks. like on the table. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to get help from these people. So yeah, that's why the internet's so powerful, because you can find a coach that is like in line with your values after you watch a little bit of their content, and really kind of get that help that you're not going to find in therapy, because they will recite from the DSM-5, which
That's
is
it.
very outdated. And it actually, my belief is that unless someone's gone through it, they're not qualified to really help.
Well,
And
and it's also a set of values and beliefs that they don't share. They've been programmed, they've been indoctrinated through the university or college, whatever certification they took, whatever degree they've gotten, has been totally fucking diluted, and these people are indoctrinated. But they do have people like us who have seen through the bullshit and understand truth and understand a masculine position in life and understand what total accountability looks like, and then have gone and educated themselves to spread this. I have a guy who I continue to. He's a therapist slash life coach for me. Ooh, this dude is plugged in. You hear me?
Oh, let's go.
This dude is it. And he does Zoom calls. So I'll get you the information before we get off.
Oh, awesome.
But
One
yeah,
thing I
there's
wanted to,
also, hold up, there's also hypnotherapy. You've got to dig into that subconscious. You got to go mine that deep, dark subconscious of yours and start and catch the origins of where this behavior began. What is causing the less than feeling? What is causing the I don't deserve? What is causing the self-sabotage? Because a lot of relationships are self-sabotage for people who aren't mentally and emotionally balanced. And if you ever want to level up in every area of life, you have to find these limitations, confront them head on, admit to them, and move past them and replace them with something better. And that goes for women, because if you don't fix this shit, all you're going to do is just keep repeating. The universe will
absolutely.
keep putting you through the same situation until you learn your lesson, just in a different body.
Yeah. That, man, you just read my mind. That's exactly what I was thinking. Like a lot of times, and when you can start looking at relationships like this, they become a lot less personal, and a lot more kind of growth focused. Everybody that comes into your life is a teacher of some sort for some lesson. That's how I look at it. And
Absolutely.
so, especially with dating, like girl comes into your life, um, she's going to teach you some stuff that I'll just say for myself, that if I hadn't learned these lessons, they would have come up with someone else. And because like I did what Joe said, and what is really important is to take that inventory after. So really understanding, okay, right, you don't want to obsess over it and beat yourself up, but you want to be honest. Okay, where was I at fault? What could I have done better? What would I have liked to do better next time? Stay away from the shoulds, right? You don't want to be covered in should. It smells bad. It's gross. Um, it makes your clothes dirty. So you don't want to be covered in that. You want to be covered in, okay, how can I move forward and then make those changes for the next person? And when you do that, you'll find that those, the negative qualities that were in that last relationship, in the next one, if you can learn the lesson, they won't be there. Maybe in little sprinkles, but they'll be less than what they were before. For example, like with drugs or something like that, you're dating someone that uses. It's like, okay, why would I date someone that uses? Well, because there's insecurities about being clean or whatever like that. So the next person, if you can learn that lesson and then start vetting more properly, you're going to find somebody that, and you won't get in a relationship with somebody that uses or is in active addiction. Just as an
Well,
example.
if you don't have a healthy self-concept, you'll never be able to spot that. You won't even recognize the red. You'll confuse the red flags with, oh, this is a challenge. Oh, this is love. Oh, this is warm and fuzzy. Like red flags are warm and fuzzies to unhealthy people.
Mm.
And you got to go into this thing 100% in it for you. At some point, I'll guarantee it, another woman is going to benefit by getting to be with you. But you have to make it about you and only you. Now, as a byproduct, the people you associate with, your kids, if you have kids, the next woman you date, or your friends group, your social group, but you look, when you start making these changes, these people just drop off. And that's part of the fucking life. That's just part of the change that you have to accept. But what happens is you start, all these things in life that you're discarding are replaced with more quality experience, quality people, quality business opportunities, more quality women. And if you do this, it's called, you know, view your own mental point of origin, operating from inward outward. Everything you do is for yourself, but inadvertently, it affects everybody around you in a positive way. And you have to know that when you say no to somebody, it's for your better good, but they're going to be better off in the long run for it. And you know, and a lot of times a guy starts getting a little taste of that cooch, getting good. He can't say no anymore. He can't say no when she says, "Stay with me. Don't go to the gym tonight. Don't go to jiu-jitsu tonight. Don't do this tonight." Or, you know, and what it does, it slowly, and this is all the work I'm talking about through the process of no contact. And we're starting to jump over a little bit, but that's okay. It's a good conversation. You slowly start building this foundation, a strong foundation of self-respect and self-love. That emanates just like pathetic shit emanates. I can spot a fucking spineless dude. I can spot a troubled person. Like, I can see it. I can smell it on them. And the same thing happens to us. We're no different. And what you project is you are going to attract. But deep down, you got to be there. You have to be completely internalized this change and be willing to do the fucking hard work, because it's difficult. I'm telling you, brother, it was nights in tears, having to dredge up all that old stuff from the past and that old hurt and that pain. It's a process. It's not for the meek. And that's why so few people are top tier people, because they're too fucking lazy. And either you're going to choose the route of staying a loser, or you're going to do what it takes, the difficult work that it takes to make that change. But it's a permanent change for the rest of your life, and you only get better and better and better. And that's the game.
Yeah, dude. Amen, brother. Like, I was thinking this the last couple of weeks, you know, just I've thought about this my whole journey. I'm like, hey, if I would have known some of these challenges that were to come up in all of this, I don't think I would have taken it, because it's been painful. And but without that pain, you don't get the growth. So I think coming back to the addiction stuff too, like, it's a very painful process to get clean and start those new habits. But if you can give yourself that grace and that couple of years to really change, you're going to become such a stronger person because of it. And you're going to be able to tackle these situations and not crumble in front of them. Like, yeah, life gets tough. And at the end of the day, though, like, I know I'm going to be fine. Life's going to move on. I'm a small part of this universe, and that's great. So we have a comment here from Kingman01. Thanks for tuning in, brother. Been in no contact for almost 5 months. Don't want her back. Lost almost 40 pounds. So
Roger
awesome,
that,
man. Did the work. That's what we like to hear. We got Husband. What's up, brother? Shout out to Joe. Love this dude. Showing the love.
Brother. Yeah.
And then Kingsman back. Good question. Do they always come back?
No. Most of the time. At some point, they revisit it. I've had a year and a half go by and have somebody circle back.
Mm-hmm. I think too, depending on how intelligent the woman is, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, if she's got some brains about her, like, she's probably not going to come back. She knows she's going to look like a fool. What are your
nothing
thoughts
to do
on
with
that?
brains. And brains go out the window. There's nothing to do with brains.
Okay.
It's that itch that has to be scratched, that urge.
Okay.
Most of the time they do come back. Well, you see, and what happens over time is, and this is where they have the switch up from a dump or a dumpy dynamic. There's a period of time that goes by and there's a switch in power. We call it the power flip, but it's not necessarily a power flip. But what happens is, just like your hurt and despair dissipate slowly over time, her negative feelings and attachments to you slowly disappear, and all the positive rises to the top. And it's called the faded effect bias.
Okay.
And what that is just, so back in the day, it's in short, it is negative experiences or negative emotions attached to negative experiences disappear faster than positive, right? So a strong negative experience that would cause a breakup, that would just, where it's like, that's it. can't do this anymore. We're done. And all the things that you've done collectively over the past months that contribute to that are fresh and present in her brain. Well, this comes from, it's an instinctual reaction to negative experience, pain, anything. So back in the day, in ancient times, when we were just cave people, the world was very dangerous. Like, you died all the time. Everything wanted to kill you, from the weather to the viruses or sicknesses we had no answer for, animals. Like, weak people just died. Like, nobody's, like, we have a world full of sickos and pussies because these people don't die anymore because of modern medicine and technology. So, and what happens is when you had to go to these hunting parties and go kill food, if Cave Joe and Cave Joel had to go on a hunting party, and I saw a Cave Joel get mauled by a saber-toothed tiger, that's a traumatic fucking experience to see you get torn limb from limb. And it may send me into a form of PTSD where I go hide out in my cave and never want to leave again. But I can't. I have to survive. So what happens is we've evolved over time to let those negative experiences falter and slowly disappear. And we can remember all the benefits. Like, well, I know Joe got eaten by that tiger, and that was scary because he almost had me. I got away. But that mammoth was fucking delicious, and it fed us for months. And the wife was so happy when I came back, and the kids got to eat, and they stayed healthy. Maybe it wasn't that bad. Maybe I'm making more of it than what it is.
Okay.
So that's the same thing that happens with the breakup. And if there was a genuine connection, genuine love, genuine experiences that you shared with this person, and if you've imprinted her emotionally, and that's huge, at some point, that's coming back to the surface. That will come back. I guarantee it. I had a chick from 8th grade. This was years ago. This is back in 2015. Come sliding back around. After 8th grade, dude. You're talking, I don't know how old was it. I was 40, 39, maybe. I don't know. But, you're looking at decades later. Just wondering how you're doing, prod and poking.
Sure. Well, question, Joe. So how about on the flip? So let's say you're a guy, you break up with a girl, from your example right there, then what's going to happen is the guy who did the dumping it's going to start to switch, and he's going to try to want to get back with her by this law. So how does the guy then who did the dumping, not let that happen?
There's no way to stop it naturally from occurring. It's just a part of our process. Just like getting in a car accident. You get in a bad car wreck. At some point, you drive again, right?
Yeah.
The fear of the last tragic thing that happened behind that wheel starts to dissipate, and you start thinking of all the benefits of having a car. So it's going to come up no matter what.
Okay.
And it just matters. It depends on the person if they see it as something they want to pursue. Like I said, the experience together, emotionally imprinted, the quality of connection, these type of things are what determines if the other person takes the action on it.
Okay.
But to answer the question, it's not a guarantee that they all come back. In my experience, most of them do. A lot of them do. Okay. Everybody I've coached, every single man that I've coached who's paid for my services, the woman has come back.
Okay.
2 out of the dozens of men that I've helped have taken their girls back. Because here's the thing. By the time you do this work, you're not the same person she left. You're not the same dude. You've upped your standards. You've upped your game. You've upped everything. You've leveled up. That's why I call it leveling up. You literally level up every phase of your life. Physically, mentally, emotionally, fashion, money, peer group. Like I suggest martial arts. Yeah. So you've upgraded all these things, and then she comes back around. And you're like, no. No, but now that I'm doing better, sorry, we can be friends and hang out, but no.
Mm,
And by
okay.
friends and hang out, I mean fuck buddies.
Yeah. Yeah.
If the sex was worth it.
Okay. So then, yeah, great question. Great follow up. What does the guy do when she comes back? What is your recommendation? I know it's case by case basis for sure. What are some of those guidelines that you say, hey, you at least do this, right? At least do this
Well, it
when they reach
depends
back out.
that's an individual thing. It depends on where you're at. If you are interested in getting her back and revisiting it, don't go running crazy back. Because I've had good experiences with chicks that we've broken up or that I've broken with and they've broken up with me. And it was always nice to circle back. Now,
Hmm.
what you don't want to do, okay, I'll talk about what to do. Uh, let's talk about what don't do. Don't get too excited. You know, don't think because she's text you to see how you're doing, because it'll never be. Rarely, I shouldn't say never. Rarely will it be. Look, I know some time is going by. I've thought about you, and I've thought about us, and I really miss you. It's going to be some off the wall shit. Like, hey, did I leave a pair of socks over there? Or hey, how's your cat doing? Or hey, how's this? Like, hey, stranger, how are you? You know. But one thing you want to be careful of and be on the lookout for is, and this is what turns me off about going back, is like, wait a minute, something tells me what you went to go do didn't work out. Now you're coming back.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like fucking plan B. No,
Mm.
sorry. But look, sometimes there are cases where people want the exes back, and I don't frown upon that. That's just my preference. And there are some cases where you've really done a lot of shit to cause that breakup. And you learn that through your experience of growth, through your growth experience and this change that you undergo, that you've seen a lot of your flaws.
Mm.
And you've seen, you can actually empathize with the person and say, you know what? I could kind of understand how I repelled somebody
Yeah.
because that would have repelled me.
Hmm.
You're not that guy anymore. So you may want to give it another shot as a different person. But the thing is, you can't count on is that they have gone back and they didn't go do work like you did. I'm promise you.
Yeah.
No doubt about that. Because they have the upper hand, they have the power. They're the ones who's wanted. They don't think nothing's wrong and their shit don't stink. And so don't go in all excited. Don't charge in,
What's up,
full
babe?
blast.
Great to see you. Let's
No,
go.
like full blast, like, oh God, you wouldn't believe what I did while you were gone. I did this, and this. And I'm such a better person and I missed you and I thought about this. And you just stay cool and match her energy. If it's, hey, stranger, how are you? Hey, sexy, doing great. How are you? She fires back with something else. Great to hear. How, what the fuck's going on with the Saints? And, uh, make about this much small talk because it's probably going to be a text message. Rarely do people call people anymore. 3 texts back and forth. Then you go for the meetup in
Mhm.
person. Look, I'm super busy. I'd love to catch up though. What does your week look like? Love to see you and catch up. Bam. And that's it. You don't fucking go any further than that. Don't
Mm.
become her pen pal, her message
Nope.
buddy, her attention filler. Like, don't do that. Set a new fucking standard because you going back to this person and go and explore a little bit. It's a whole new experience. It's a whole new relationship. You're not that guy anymore, and that relationship is long gone. It's a whole new experience, and you have an opportunity to set the bar way higher. And what happens mostly is that people have had you in this little box, this little container for so long. I've often heard the words of "you've changed. You're not the same." I'm like, yeah, you're fucking right. I
Damn
did.
right. What do you think I've been doing?
That
Playing video games?
what they're communicating is the person you were. I could easily control, and I had an image of, and I know exactly what to do. It makes me uncomfortable that you're this different person because I don't know what to expect now.
Oh.
And that's a good fucking place to be because a lot of chicks will immediately respect that. Set the date, Saturday 7. Can't wait. Boom. Good night.
Mm.
And don't And like she may jump in, in between the dates and say, "Hey, we're still on." Yeah, of course we are. I keep my word, you know that.
Hmm.
Well, she was just poking for some attention. Because remember, anytime a chick reaches out to you, she wants your attention. She wants to see you. She wants you to acknowledge her in some kind of way. So you give a little bit, and you go back to the old "I'm busy," and you really should be busy. Like you should be on a fucking grind, dude. At this point, like you're a changed man. No days off. The days are over with. You got to earn a fucking day off, and it takes a long time to earn a day off. A lot of hard work and a lot of fucking results. You got to be 100 steps ahead before you take one back to put you back at 99. And so you are genuinely busy. You say, "Oh, great hearing from you. I can't wait to see you Saturday night. I got to get back to what I was doing. Have a great day." Boom, back at it. Now she's thinking, "Oh shit, this dude has changed. He would never have told me that before."
He
And
would have said, I'm available right now. Let's get together.
yeah, he would have went back and forth on a text with me for the next hour, and
Bro.
gave me laughing face emojis at my stupid jokes. And he's barely paying attention to me. What is he doing? How many other women is he entertaining? How is he so easy going about this? What has he done? Like this is what starts happening. He's so interesting. He's really leveled up. He really means it. God, I can't wait to see him. I'm so excited. Let them write this. Let them write the story. That's the best friend you got is a woman's imagination.
And what Joe said right there is key for just communicating with women in general. Like big mistake guys make. Hey, I'm part of this too. Is texting too much, right? Like, oh, I'm dating them now. We can talk every day. No, got to be kind of setting that frame all the time. Like, hey, I'm busy. And she'll start to know that you're busy, and we can only talk once in a while. And then when you do, it's to set up a date, right? Like I heard that from day one, and of course, on my journey, I've let that slip. But we're back in that. Texting should be to set up the date, not to communicate and talk. Leave that to when you actually see them in person, and let the flirting, the seduction come from the in-person thing. And that's just going to make things way better. She's going to be way more into you. It might not seem like that because she might respond actually positive if you start texting her all the time at first. She might be like into it, like, oh yeah, you're going back and forth. But
She'll get bored.
yep, just like this, mystery gone. She knows exactly what you're doing at all times. And seduction gone, desire gone. She's like, oh, okay, I'm going to talk to Tyrone, who only texts me once a week. Boom,
Yeah.
monkey branching. Yeah, you got to be number one.
Yeah, you make a really good point there, is not to fall back into the old habits.
Mhm.
And at this point, and look, I don't judge anybody for wanting their ex back. Some dating expert coaches, whatever, are highly against that. Never go back to the thing that broke you. And
Mm.
I don't completely agree with that. That's a personal preference. But you have to understand, a real important key thing to understand is it's not the same relationship. She is not the same person, and you're not the same person.
Mm.
And you're not the same person. She's not the same person she was to you. Okay.
Mm.
So she's probably not going to have done much. My experience and people I've worked with experiences, client testimonies is that these women go off, they don't do anything. They don't do any meaningful work, anything with depth.
They might do someone, but
Yeah, they might
not
do
something.
work on a bunch of dicks, but and so that's all things to keep in mind, but just match the energy, slowly ease back into it, just like as if you first met.
Mm.
One date a week, not all the long messaging. Messaging is for logistics. If she calls, phone calls, 3, 4, 5 minutes tops, get back to what you're doing. And slowly you're going to do the same process. But then here's another big thing that I failed to mention at the very beginning. She's got to come back to you. She's got to work. She's got to earn you back.
Yeah.
And you're not going to make it easy. There's things that you can put in play that she has to earn you back. And you see what people often forget is you were simply discarded because you were so fucking available and easy.
Yep.
You were not a challenge. You were a yes man. And so that's this is a slow process of her earning your attention back, her earning
Mm,
the gift of having you back in her life as this man as you are, because you don't fucking need her. Because there's
mm,
many other women out there by this point that want to be in a position.
mm,
And you sit in a position of power. And I'm not saying be an abusive, uh, narcissist asshole, even though a hint of narcissism is not bad. Everybody is. You can use it constructively, but like and like revenge, going back for revenge. Oh, I don't agree with that.
mm.
That's
It's a waste of time.
you've grown into you're a better man. You're a bigger, better man now. We don't play the revenge game with anybody. The consequence of them doing what they did is you're out of their life, and that's the consequence they got to live with for a long time. That's enough revenge because of
Mm,
what you're going to do. They'll feel it down the line, and there's always and a lot of times these chicks come and check up on you to see if you're doing better than them. They just want to make sure, and they were
mm.
awfully disappointed when they find out, like, oh shit, this dude's leveling up. What the hell? I haven't done anything, and I left him, and he's gone and done better without me. How dare him? I got to get him back.
Mm,
And that's how it goes. Yeah, take your time, ease back into it, be very thorough. At this point, you should be in a position where you have a healthy self-concept and you have a healthy self-respect and self-love. And this is why I think it's a good thing if you go into no contact and you don't talk for a while. So you have the opportunity to do this much needed important work. It's detrimental to your future in every aspect of your life. And I've said this before. You can just take the loser way out, go drink yourself to death for a little while and do drugs and stimulate yourself, get some cheap dopamine, ride it
mm,
out. It goes away eventually. You're going to feel better eventually.
mm,
But if you haven't done anything, you're either going to have, and what I see, there's this fork in the road where people have this decision to make. Am I going to take the choice of the disciplined, hardworking, masculine path, or am I going to take the loser route and just sweat it out till it goes away? And what I usually see people that take the latter will often they'll start taking things that are safe. They'll settle for the fucking average mid chick who's a little chunky, but she's safe.
mm,
She's a safe option. You got nothing to worry about. You're better looking than her. You this, that, you this. So, and you never go for that big challenge. You never
mm.
put yourself out there again. And that's a dangerous way to live,
Wow.
settling for everything.
Wow.
That's no
Wow.
kind of life. That's no kind of life.
Yeah, man. It's a huge opportunity to date better, to level up yourself and start dating women that are, you'll look back and be like, why did I date this other one? Like, you just start attracting higher quality women, and it might take a little bit. You might have to learn some new things and get out in the ringer a bit. But I'll tell you, when you meet a girl that's better than the one you were just dating, you will forget instantly about the girl that you were just dating. It'll
Yeah.
be like, what? Like she won't even exist. And that just says too how much of a chemical thing it is. Because with breakup I went through, I started approaching right away. Probably should have taken a little time off, but just said screw it. I'm gonna go out there. I don't know, went up to like 6 women that were just absolutely gorgeous, got their numbers, and I just didn't give a crap anymore about the breakup. It was just like, whatever. It's in the past.
That's a good thing to do to keep yourself sharp and get confidence boosts when you really need it, because you really need that shit after you've been rejected by somebody.
Mm, mm,
And it really feels good temporarily. But I want you to do the work and experience what that feels like all the time with zero external validation,
okay.
zero hot chicks,
But
zero people giving you compliments. You just feel like that. You know yourself as that person, that you're absolutely 100% sure you're that dude. And you don't need to have it validated by some girl. Like,
mm,
you think about it, what does it really matter what she thinks? What do you think is going to happen to her in 20 years? Is it going to matter when she's fat and alone? No. So why does it matter now? But
mm,
it's I do like that you did that, because I encourage people to do that. Get back out there. Don't go try to jump into a relationship. That's going
mm,
to be a train wreck. But there's nothing wrong with going out there and keeping yourself sharp mentally, and it's actually a healthy thing to do to keep you mentally on point. keep you on your toes when you get back into dating, because that's a
Yeah.
skill. You lay off, find you a couple of chicks and settle down for a year and then try to go back out there. You got to start all over again. Just about.
Okay.
Just about.
Yeah.
But
And that's a really good point too, because what I realized after doing that too is like, it's the high, it wears off. It's like it was chasing another hit to cover up the loss of that drug. So
sure.
now I'm just kind of like, yeah, you know what? Time to chill. Time to just be with me and collect myself and continue leveling up, and just kind of forget about all that for a little bit and then dive back in when the time is right. So yeah, it always comes back to focusing on yourself, and at the end of the day, no one else will make you happy. This comes back to some recovery stuff too. Codependency 101. No other person can ever be that source of fulfillment for you. And if it does, it's going to be a one-way ticket to disappointment, depression, all that stuff, attachment, neediness. And so it's not easy, especially people that have come from trauma. If you're out there and you've dealt with a lot of abandonment in the past, it's going to be a very difficult task. I know friends that have come from very stable households, and it's always interesting to watch because they're just so like non-attached, like all the time. And I'm like, dang, like, how do you do it? They're like, what do you mean?
Part of the work is learning about healthy and unhealthy attachment. Attachment, suffering, all suffering comes from attachment.
Amen.
And so I'm not saying you can't get emotionally. There is going to be a level of attachment when you're with somebody. You can't just be completely disconnected and expect anything quality. When you go into a relationship, my thought, my sentiment is you go to a relationship to give. Mm. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't look for reciprocation. It kind of tells you who you're dealing with. But if you show up to a relationship to give and she shows up to give, that's a fantastic relationship.
Right,
you got two people that are working on themselves for each other and fulfilling each other's needs inadvertently, because she's there to give and you there to give.
Wow.
How does that work out? Phenomenally.
Yeah.
I've been in one of those and I messed it up because I wasn't ready up here and in my heart.
Okay.
I wasn't ready. But look, Kingman has another question.
Yeah, shoot. I'll throw it up here. Why don't they think enough of you to send a simple holiday text after you're spent together? Because they're watching Joe's content. They know the power of no contact.
Yeah. Because they don't care. Your value to them has been lost. And
yeah,
I don't know, that's a hard question to answer in your specific situation, because I know absolutely nothing about it. Other than he says right here, being dumped by a single mother who I was madly in love with was the hardest shit I've ever experienced. Well, yeah, it's difficult. And especially when they got the kids. You get attached to the kids too. That's rough. Oof. I had one of them too years ago. I don't really date chicks with young kids anymore. So the answer to that question is, and look, I love this. This guy has a fucking hard ass jarhead Marine motherfucker going out there kicking ass and taking names. And a woman has the ability to diminish, to just devour and throw him into a pit of despair. And I've helped a few guys from the military, hard motherfuckers too, like Marines aren't chumps, some tough ass dudes. Yeah. And I have a lot of friends who are Marines. And so the same thing that made you a good Marine is the same thing that same commitment, dedication, repetition, mindset, everything is what's going to propel you through all these other successes and victories in your life. Same exact thing. Why didn't you think enough of you to send a simple happy holiday text after years spent together? You don't have to. You've broken up because and this is harsh, but you mean nothing to them at this point. When somebody breaks up with you and they're willing to cross that line, what they're communicating is, I think my life is going to be better without you in it. That's a hard fucking pill to swallow. especially when you love somebody back and you would never do something like that. It's a cold shit. And look, ain't nothing colder than a fucking woman who's done. When they done, they're done. And they don't give a fuck. And that's just the cold truth, brother. Because she doesn't care. And she doesn't value you and y'all's relationship anymore. So that's, and matter of fact, I had an old client right before Christmas asking me, she monkey branch a coworker. Yeah, brother, you gotta. It's easy for me to sit on this end of the screen and say you got to move on, but you got to work through that. No person who does that to you should ever have access to you again.
Something too, I think, is an important point in understanding women, female nature. This really kind of opened my eyes too, is that they always have another guy lined up, or there's always a couple guys in the back burner that they can hit up if things go south.
Look, if you have a reasonably attractive girl, and comes with dating hot chicks, she's got dudes everywhere. She's got dicks coming at her from every direction in life. When she goes to the grocery, when she stops for gas, when she goes to work, in her DMs, on social media, and we ain't even going to get into the whole social media accounts thing, but she's got dicks flying from every single direction. And you just have to accept that. Now, it's not uncommon of women to do that, monkey branch. It's really not. But that really hits a sore spot with me. I mean, she's knew all along she wasn't going to be with you, but she just wanted to make sure she had a replacement before she did the whole deal. Make sure she had somebody lined up to take your place immediately. And that's just fucking sick. That's sick behavior from a sick person. But Kingman, this is the person you attracted. And whatever happened, and this is why you need to take full responsibility, because you allowed that to happen over time. You allowed yourself to become what you became and let that relationship deteriorate to what it did. At any point, you could have jumped ship. And I understand you didn't know. You didn't understand what that looked like. But I promise you, you do the work that's needed, you won't ever look at this chick again. You might take her back as a fling, but she'll never have access to you again, nor should she.
Yeah.
She was a 4 at best. What are you doing? Don't date 4s, dude. But even 4s. 4s are, dude. My girl is super attractive, very pretty, beautiful face, nice body. We were talking the other night about getting attention and that. And I had to explain to her that the average of 5 is going to get more attention than you will, just because she's low hanging fruit. And you see what happens, these guys now with social media, it's out of control, gas these fucking women up into thinking they're something. Like, have you seen the fat chicks in yoga pants? They think that's sexy because somebody was telling them that. They think having their fat rolls and fat titties everywhere flopping around with her second butt in the front all over the place.
So hot, dude. So fucking hot.
It's repulsive. And they'll do it like they're the hottest thing, like with no shame whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the decision they woke up and made to leave the house in that. And you know what I mean? And they're proud of it.
And it's so celebrated too, like as body positivity. And it's like, I get it, like love yourself, but they're like killing them. Like they're gonna die at like 65.
Being fat and disgusting is not loving yourself. You hate yourself if you let yourself get like that. That's hatred. That's trauma. That's a problem. You're dying. You're dying mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. There's nothing positive about that. Body positivity, my ass. The only thing positive is that somebody like me is going to call them fat and disgusting, because that's the truth. Look, when I was growing up, we didn't have fat people like this. I don't remember seeing a bunch of fat people. We had one kid in class through elementary school. His name is Raymond Alfonso, and he was chubby. We had this other cat, Anthony, but he had serious heart problems. He died young.
Oh man.
which Raymond Alfonso, he was chubby, and he got made fun of all the time for being a fat ass. Grew up, got some testosterone in him, wanted to attract girls, started working out, and got fucking jacked and sexy. He didn't say, I love me for me, you know what I mean? And I'm beautiful, I'm big. No, you're not. You're repulsive, and you're killing yourself, and you have no concern for yourself or anybody else. That's what that signals to me. If you let yourself go like that, you don't love your kids, you don't love your family, you certainly don't love yourself, because you've eaten yourself into an early grave. And I don't want to hear about your fucking gland disorder. That's bullshit. It's a lifestyle. It's a choice. It's a decision.
Yeah.
It's the leading cause of death in this country right now. Our country, not yours, not Mexico.
I still consider myself American. Yeah, when I was in Poland, there was not a lot of fat people. It was a lot of in Europe, a lot of skinny people, and it was like really. And I came back to the States, and on the plane ride back, I sat next to these two like very large people, and just emotionally not there. And I think that's a big thing too, is they just aren't present because they're just, like you said, in their head. But that can be for another whole another conversation.
Kingman said he's my black twin.
Nice.
Good looking fucking cat.
You got a black twin. Nice. Yeah. It's good you're leveling up, man. You're realizing this stuff. I think that's the most important thing is you can recognizing where you're at fault and then making the changes, because just like Joe said, and this is the power of taking accountability. I got to a point where I'm just like, you know what? I don't blame him. Like there's no hatred anymore. Like I wish him the best. Like I didn't know what I didn't know. So I think another really important part is don't beat yourself up for it. Like you did the best you could with the information you had. And had you had known otherwise, you would have acted different. Of course. It's, this is part of evolution and growth. Like you can't possibly, sometimes you can't learn these lessons without going through, the fire. And when we think about it in terms of just simply like, I don't know, you have to learn to drive a car, right? It takes like 6 months, and you mess up a few times, you hit some curbs. Like it's different when there's with other people. And I think there's this expectation, especially from the US anyway, that like life is supposed to be like you meet your one and only first girl, you just fall in love, there's no problems, and it's happily ever after. And that was sold to me for my whole childhood. Like that's how relationships are.
Sold to this whole country of minutes. We're a country of pussies.
Yeah, bro. It's been I'm grateful I'm on this path. Let's just say that, because I've had a lot
of
work to do.
Joe, you and other men need to understand your failures are your greatest teachers. These moments, like what you're in, what Kingston's in, is an opportunity of a lifetime. You can't see that for what it is right now. It sounds like you're coming around to it. King, this is an opportunity of a lifetime, brother. This woman did the best thing for you she ever could have done in dumping your ass. You'll understand what I mean in a year if you apply yourself.
Bro, dude, that is just what my mentor keeps telling me. He's like, dude, you can't see it now. 2 years from now, you look back and it'll make way more sense. Girl last year, she ended up breaking up with me. It hurt really bad. But I look back now and I'm just like there's no emotional attachment at all. Yeah, right. Thank freaking God. She was vegan, bro. That would have been rough.
Don't date vegans. They're not healthy people.
They're really skinny sometimes. I worked at Whole Foods, and there was a lot of big vegans, and they would get like the vegan cake. They'd be just so proud.
Because they fucking lying. They home eating bacon.
So Jason here says, I always think of past relationships, and I don't think twice. Exactly. Yep. You don't even think twice. No emotional attachment. Jaron, who you guys have seen on the channel before, he went through a divorce, and we were talking about it the other day, and he's just like he was just laughing about it, because he's like, yeah, I don't care at all. It's like, wow. Like that's time heals all wounds.
Well, and not just time. You should never forget the things that got you into the jams that you've been in. You should always have a short-term memory. No. You want to have a long-term memory with the things that cause you the pain, so you don't repeat it. Completely 100% own every fucking second of your mistakes. because
Amen.
that is your greatest teachers. And that's nobody learns through success.
Mm.
Everybody learns through failure. And you can either look at failure as what it is, a failure, or an opportunity to level up and learn from it and propel yourself forward faster.
Mm-hmm. Guys, it's gonna be a little bit of a curveball, but amen, Joe. Amen. Like that's all we can do in life is learn, and it's a superpower to be able to own your mistakes and take that inventory. So, I'll just say this: if this is something that you do struggle with, it's kind of random, but I invite you to get into a recovery group and just go through the steps of some sort of group that you can resonate with, because what those groups do really well, and Joe and I have both been through them in multiple venues. I mean, I do one probably twice a year. I'm doing one right now, actually. Did it right before this call. We're on the fourth step. We're on number 4, which is where you take your inventory and look at all the stuff you did, how you were at fault, what you could have done different, and really let that stuff go. Take full responsibility. So that really teaches you how to do that. And what happens at the end of doing that, and then you make the amends. And we're not recommending going and apologizing to the girl, but you make that amends with yourself. You make that peace. You say, hey, Joe, Joel, whoever it is, I let you down, man, and that's not gonna happen again. And then you own up to that amends. You live that amends. The magic is that you get to have a spiritual awakening, which you get to go out in the real world, and that stuff doesn't happen anymore. You get to experience brand new relationships, brand new power within yourself, and freedom, ultimately freedom to not make those same mistakes again. And so go ahead.
In the big books of Alcoholics Anonymous, it says, our way of living has its benefits for all. It doesn't mean just alcoholics and drug addicts. And our way of life has its benefits for all. Those 12 steps can be applied to anything. And look, there may be a point where you do make an amends, but it's going to be under the care and direction of somebody who worked with you through the steps, who's been through it, a sponsor type figure. You don't go winging that shit on your own. You have you have a guide, like a mentor. You could look at it as that's kind of what a sponsor is, and AA is almost like a mentor, but somebody who's blazed this fucking path before and is going to tell you, all right, get your shit out. I'm going to show you how to do this. We're going to navigate this together, and I'm going to show you exactly how I did it and exactly how it has to be done, and we're going to do all this stuff together. And
absolutely.
And so yeah,
and it's going to benefit other people, like not just yourself. Like you'll be able to share that wisdom with your kids, with maybe somebody you help in some sort of mentor program. Like it's.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, all good. All good. Yeah, it helps more than just yourself. And it's going to help the women you date too in the future, because they're going to see a different, they're not going to know that version of you that got emotionally attached and needy. They're going to see the strong masculine guy that you've always wanted to be. Oh, you were connected to a different phone.
I was looking at my stupid onboard factory camera off the laptop.
Okay.
I didn't have my I was wondering why I was off.
That's way different. Yeah. Holy crap.
Yeah. And look, guys, I know we went way from here all the way to here, but it's a very good, productive conversation. And I'd still like to stay on the topic of no contact, even if we veer off like we do every time, because there's still a lot of good information in there. And what it does is, so my brand represents solution, like change, solution, growth. And it took me years to understand what I was doing and what was I aiming at. And I know I channel it through no contact. It usually has to do with a breakup, but heartbreak is usually what propels a man into greatness. Like if everything's going well in your life, you're not going to feel any urgency to change. Matter of fact, that's when men get fat and lazy, and through comfort and complacency. It's usually that you're pushed and propelled and motivated and incentivized by this great pain that you think you may never overcome. Like you got to work life like your life depends on it. And that's usually what you do after heartbreak. You're willing to do anything. Just like when you go into the doors of recovery, you have been so beaten down that you're desperate that I will do any fucking thing you tell me to do. But it's a process. It's a goddamn process.
Yeah, absolutely. Doesn't happen overnight. Takes days, weeks, months.
Does happen.
Does happen. Yep.
That's going to be contingent upon the amount of output. Yeah.
Yeah.
The amount of
And
action
honesty.
you're taking.
Yep. And honestly, you're going to be willing to be with yourself. You'll get to a point where you just can't bullshit yourself anymore. It'll be too painful to bullshit yourself than to actually face the truth and then have the possibility to overcome that. There's stuff like, I imagine in every one of our consciousnesses that we don't understand yet and that we aren't willing to maybe face or admit. And that's okay. If we faced everything at once, we would probably want to jump out a window. But as you get stronger and you can be more honest and you start to see the benefits of being honest with yourself, AKA the relationship improvements, the more peace at night, the easier it is to sleep, you're going to become, I'll be honest, you become addicted to being a better person. It's like, that is it.
Yeah. You become obsessed with it.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with that. And like, people's like, oh, you do this too much. Man, shut the fuck up. That's just people trying to see you fail. Get obsessed. Get obsessed with yourself. Get obsessed about improvement. Get obsessed about leveling up. Yeah. Go after it like that. Go after it like you're going after that chick who broke up with you.
Right. And then you won't care about the chick, which is the best part. And you'll find better chicks that become obsessed with you, not the other way around. Yeah. And that's what we like to see. So, dude, I think that's a great place to wrap for the week. It's kind of weird seeing your eyes now. It's like the whole show you were like, looking up. But we're going to get some great clips from this, great content. I want to say thank you to everybody who tuned in and especially seeing some new faces. Kingman, great to hear from you, brother. Hope to see you again. Jason as well. And then Huds, great to see you as always. Let's go around the horn. And Proud, where can people find you and get in touch with you for some coaching?
I'm putting my info in the chat here, but it's saying it won't post to Sobriety University. I guess I got to put it in your chat.
Okay.
In the YouTube.
No, we got it. Yeah, it'll show up on mine for sure.
It didn't. I posted it on the StreamYard chat and it didn't come through.
StreamYard chat. I see it right here. Yeah, Proud Masculine. Instagram, Proud Masculine.
And it's telling me it won't go through your YouTube, so nobody's going to see that.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I'll post it as well now.
I just did.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, guys, behind the scenes, you get some live behind the scenes footage.
Technical expertise. Technological. No.
Challenge. Technologically challenged. It's all right. You're old. We'll let it slide. One more here from Jason. I had to go no contact twice this year with 2 different people. Just like everything else, it gets easier with time. Appreciate that motivation, man. Keep the abundance mindset. Thanks, coaches.
Amen. Thank you for tuning in. This is why I do what I do, to help men.
Oh, love it, brother. And so, yeah, guys, connect with Joe for some one-on-one coaching. Promise he'll help you out and change your life. And you get that one-on-one personal feedback. There's so much positivity about coaching. I have a coach for everything in my life. Anytime I start something new, I find a coach because I just see how important it is. And I'm going to be having coaches till the day I die, hopefully, because there's always going to be stuff I'm learning and growing from. For myself, if addiction is something that you struggle with and are ready to put down the bottle, put down the joint, put down the pills, whatever it may be, even put down the cup of coffee, hit me up for sobriety one-on-one coaching. I really focus on kind of setting those goals for you to have more reasons to live than just a substance. A lot of the reason why people are afraid to quit is because they think it's just going to be boring and life's going to suck. That's not true at all. It's absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. And you get to be conscious with it too. You're not just like numbing it. You get short buzzes and then you get to go out and do cool things. And then when the buzz wears off, you're back to being your old, like, unhappy self. No, you get to be at a steady level all day, every day, and then get to create amazing things in your life, connect with amazing people. I'm sitting with Joe here, and it wouldn't have happened if I wouldn't have chosen to get sober X amount of years ago. So I'm here to help you overcome those demons and get on the path that you want. You can start dating. You can start doing all kinds of cool things. And for that, you can book a call with me down below. I'll hop on a Zoom and I'll get to know you, find out where you are, and then make a plan of where I can be of assistance to you. So Roddy, you want to coaching there? Check out the vids too. Both of us are active on socials, and we're gonna be giving you daily content or weekly content that can help you take little snippets and level up in your life. With that, guys, I'm at 1% battery, so I'm gonna grab my charger, and this is a great place to end. But thank you everyone for showing up. We're gonna see you in the next week for Women Wisdom Wednesday, and see you in the next one.